Hello, family. My name is Caleb DeVar, and I'm once again your host for another GCU Live, all things GCU edition. Now, if you're a returning GCU Live member, welcome back. We're doing it on a Monday morning. Sometimes we see you Saturday, sometimes we see you Wednesday, but today we're here on a Monday morning. If you're new to the GCU Live world, let me introduce you to one myself. My name is Caleb DeVar. I'm a former student. I'm 23 years old. I work here at the university as the program specialist for Student Life. I do a ton of fun things that's showing off GCU. In fact, GCU Lope Show and Lopes Uninterrupted, a podcast you can find on Spotify. So many fun things, but I love being on here to show off all things GCU. Also, one of the cool things about this is we're going to show you it through an interactive style. Instead of just talking about, hey, we have great dorms, we want to show you the actual dorms, want to show you the actual place, as well as hear from some current students. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the Facebook or YouTube chat, as we're live on both social media platforms as well. And also, if you're watching this post-live, feel free to tweet us or send us any social media at GCU on Instagram or Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, anything. We'll make sure to get it on our next live. But without further ado, I'm going to send it out to Matthew at the Grove, where our freshmen live. Check it out.
All right. Hey, everybody. My name is Matthew, and welcome to the beautiful Grove. This is a predominantly freshman-oriented housing place here on campus, and obviously, I'm so glad I get to show it to you guys today because it's such a beautiful day here in Phoenix. So a little bit about this space. It is, like I said, predominantly freshmen who come in this area. We're kind of secluded back here, which is super fantastic when you are first coming here. I know I lived here as a freshman, and I absolutely loved it because you're able to be in your own private little community, and you're able to be on our beautiful fields here. We have several grass fields here to my right that are a great place just to be able to hang out with friends, meet a lot of new people. I mean, everybody comes out here and they play ultimate frisbee. I know they've seen bubble ball soccer that you're able to play out here, and it's just a really cool place where you're able to meet new people and really know how much of a strong community we have here at GCU and really find some lifelong friends. So if you look back here, this is actually one of our pools we have here on campus. We have 5 pools, and we have countless fitness centers on campus where you're able to stay fit and feel like you're able to really battle that freshman 15 that we've heard so much about. But we also have tons of other food places, and we even have a candy shop for those who have more of a sweet tooth here on campus. So the last thing that I'm going to talk about here before tossing it back to the studio is just a little bit about how our housing looks in some of these buildings. We have what are called suite rooms, which I absolutely love because you have a room in the middle that's called your suite, and then you have bedrooms to each side, and each side has their own private bathroom. We always say we love community here at GCU, but not community bathrooms. So we get our own bathrooms on each side. That way you're only ever sharing a bathroom with 1, maybe 2 other people your entire time here on campus. So I'm actually going to be showing you a couple places on campus today, but that about wraps it up here at the Grove, and I'm going to go ahead and send it back to Caleb in the studio.
Thank you, Matthew. The Grove, that's pretty cool out there, isn't it?
Yeah.
They got everything. Let me tell you, in the middle of June, I would much rather be in the pool right now.
Absolutely. I wish I had one at home.
Oh, I know. Well, introduce yourself, my friend.
I'm Mac. I work here at GCU. I'm also a senior. I'm also a head life leader.
Hey, let's go. So Mac and I go way back. Mac's a good buddy of mine, and I've seen him grow throughout his time at GCU. And as I mentioned in the beginning, as a former student, it's been really cool to see a lot of these students like Mac that have come through the ranks. He mentioned he was a life leader. He is a life leader going into his final year, but freshman year. Yeah. So we both lived in the Grove actually freshman year. Where'd you live?
So I lived in Juniper.
Okay, I was an Ironwood guy. Juniper, you were the smart people.
I was with the smart people.
That's
I was
where the
not
honors
one
college
myself.
So the honors college lives in the top floors of Juniper. So if you're ever interested in the honors college, you'll probably live in Juniper. Okay, so when we think of the Grove, one thing that I'm really passionate about talking to students about is the full living experience. Not only do we want you to get a great degree here, but we also want you to enjoy living here, right? And let's be honest, the dorms impact that. The number 6 ranked dorms in America. When you hear that, are you like, yeah, that makes sense?
Yeah, it's definitely, after coming here, you go into the dorm for the first time, you're like, that is definitely correct. it just feels like a home away from home, especially if you're from
yeah.
out of state.
Absolutely. And remind me where you're from.
So I'm from here, but it's far enough away from my parents where I can still feel that
Yeah.
independency. But especially going in my first year, I'm like, I can do this. I can live here.
And that's what we want for our students. Because, yeah, we get a lot of local students. But like myself,
yeah.
I'm from California. That's where I came from. But we get a lot of Midwestern students. We get a lot of people from Hawaii's becoming really popular, Alaska. I've Zoomed with people from Nigeria. All over the world want to come here. And GCU is very focused on creating a sense of, hey, no matter if you're down the street or you're across the globe, we want you to feel at home here. And that plays a role in the living experience. Now, think back to your freshman year, Mac. When you were growing, me and you talked off camera that it was, you grew a lot here at GCU through your time. How did living in the Grove and being around that community play a role in that?
Yeah, it's weird because being in the Grove, even if you don't realize it, you get connected to a ton of people. Even if you
Whether
don't
you like
know-
it or not.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Even if you don't realize it that year, even in the years for me, it wasn't until my sophomore year. I'm like, I met all these people last year. Now
Yeah.
they're some of my closest friends. It's
Absolutely.
great. Like you get connected, even if you don't want it.
Yeah. Well, it's also at GCU, we have this weird kind of, we're kind of weird in the sense that
Yeah.
everybody just is nice. Everybody
Yeah.
says hi. We're kind of like the Truman Show or Disneyland, right? I'm aging myself there. Wow, I'm old enough to say that. But when you think about it, like you might meet somebody your freshman year, have a few conversation, or they might be your life leader down the hall. You may or may not go.
Yeah.
Let's just, for instance, you don't go, not because you're not great, but let's say you don't go, but 2 years down the road, you're standing in line at Chick-fil-A. That guy was my freshman life leader.
Yeah.
Let me start a conversation.
Yeah.
And then it just goes from there. Now let's transition to life leader. So before Matt goes on with the life leader, you're probably wondering, okay, what is a life leader? Unless you're from the GCU world, or you probably don't know what that is. Life leaders are what we call the students who lead our life groups. A life group is a Bible study, hangout kind of vibe, and it's led by students like Matt. So in your world, what exactly do you view being a life leader like?
So being a life leader is if you're familiar with like what an RA is, like our resident assistants who help build a community in our buildings.
Make sure people follow the rules.
Yeah.
That kind of.
So the life leader is kind of like a middle ground between the students and the RAs, where they still help build that community, and they also kind of help with the RAs, making sure that everyone's getting connected in a way, but also really help with the spiritual life and the
Yeah.
spiritual health of the residents and fellow students.
Yeah.
So it's in a lot of ways like I view as just helping lead other students to make sure that they're doing good mentally, spiritually. Like not like if they want to talk grades, we'll talk grades. But
Yeah.
it's just being personable and being real with them.
Well, I remember my freshman year. His name was Brian. He was a life leader, and I talked girl stuff. I talked
yeah.
basketball games. I talked all this stuff because it's really nice your freshman year. Now, I'll be honest, as I grew up and I became a junior, senior, and involved in leadership myself, there was a lack of involvement in life leader, but it's because I had my foundation. I think it's so pivotal your freshman year, especially if you're coming to GCU with the intention of wanting to grow in your faith, or at least grow as a person. It's nice to have somebody like Mac here. If you're a guy, you'll have a person like Mac. If you're a girl, you have a girl life leader. It's nice to have that built-in friend, if you will. Because like I said, he was my best friend my freshman year. It was incredible to see. Do you ever get students that sometimes just are more interested? What's more common, a student that wants to grow in their faith or somebody that's kind of checking it out?
It really depends on the building. In my experience, I've been in mostly returner buildings.
Okay.
And so I've had a pretty healthy mix of people who, one, want to grow in their faith, or maybe are just curious. Maybe they're not quite, they wouldn't call themselves believers. So you get a really good mix of people. And it's just a matter of like asking them questions, helping them understand like what questions do they want to ask.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
And really just being there as a point of resource for them to get answers.
So you mentioned how Mac mentioned, or you heard how Mac mentioned that sometimes they're believers, sometimes they're not. GCU is what we call a missional school. So if you've been looking at other Christian schools, we're probably a little different. Not for sure. Some schools are like us, but majority of are going to be a little different in the sense that we don't require you to be a Christian here. So Mac and myself, we both came here because we wanted to be here and grow in our faith, but for other students, it's not like that.
Yeah.
How cool is it to be around students of both types?
It's really cool because it's like you can connect with people, and it's in a way like you were saying, or like everyone here at GCU is so nice. And it's
Yeah.
kind of weird. And it's true. Like people here are really nice. You can just connect to people. You can talk faith. You can talk sports.
Exactly.
Video games, whatever. And you can just be real with the people that are around you, and you can just build that community. and it's oftentimes a very diverse group, which I think is fantastic.
Absolutely. And Mac, you mentioned community there. There's only one. Again, we're a show not tell kind of campus. So, Mac, you've been great. Keep killing the life group. Killing at the Arc. This guy, if you ever need to go get a tour, anybody, go to the Antelope Reception Center. We got people like Mac always ready to give tours. And Mac, thanks for coming on.
Of course.
Appreciate it. We're going to send back out to Matthew. Here you go.
Hey guys, I am coming from GCBC, Grand Canyon Beverage Company here on campus. So this is our biggest Grand Canyon beverage company we have on campus. It is the entire second floor of our student union building right in the heart of our campus. And it's a great place to hang out with friends, do some homework if you like the coffee shop vibe, and also get some fantastic drinks, coffee, smoothie, tea, and most importantly, our own energy drink called Stampede. That's right, GCU has their own energy drink, and in my opinion, it's the best energy drink I've ever had. So you can come here, get a bunch of different flavors, even get it blended if you're more of a slushy kind of person, and just enjoy it, get that extra kick that you need in order to properly approach your classes. So what's also amazing about this space is that it has tons of tables and chairs and couches and stuff like that to hang out, but also over here we have our nerd herd, and what's cool about that is our IT help and support bar. So if you're having any issues with your computer or anything electronic, that's hardware, software, anything that you might be approaching a roadblock with, you're able to take it there and they will fix it completely for free. So you can take it there. If it's a more complicated issue that might take a day or two to fix, they'll actually give you a Chromebook. They'll check it out to you. That way you don't fall behind on any of your classes while your computer is still being repaired. We also have this wonderful 16 TV display behind me. We're able to play our wonderful basketball games when we're facing other teams that aren't right here at GCU, and we're also able to show any other channel and sports game and things like that, just like our Phoenix Suns games, Go Suns, and we're able to show those there, and you're all able to hang out here and stuff like that. So that about wraps it up here for this GCBC. Make sure that you look for them all around campus, even at our GCU golf course. We have them everywhere so that you can always find your closest Stampede and get the energy you need to enjoy your rest of the time here on GCU's campus. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Matthew. GCBC. I love that place.
I spend too much money there.
I spend too much time there.
My dining dollars are gone.
Amen. Even in the summer. I'm back once again with another great friend of mine. Introduce yourself.
Hi guys, I'm Cass. I am going to be a senior this year and I'm studying behavioral health science with a minor in psychology. I absolutely love that program. It's a great one. Highly recommend it if you're looking into that. I'm from a super small town in Washington State called Selah, so moving to GCU where there were 19,000 students my freshman year was a huge transition, but it was a great one for sure.
Okay, really quick, I do got to ask about that because we have a lot of students that come from these small towns. How was the adjustment?
It was a lot. My city only had 6,000 people in it when I graduated. My high school was only 1,000. I graduated with 300 people, so it's a really small class, especially for my high school. It was pretty great. I got really lucky my freshman year. I made a lot of friends really early on. Best friends I'm going to keep for the rest of my life. So it's really, really cool. They brought me to even more super awesome people that I get to spend time with for the rest of my life. So it was pretty easy for me, honestly.
I love it. Well, I bet a big part of that was our community and the chance to hang out. And that is a great transition into what we want to talk about from GCBC. So Matthew just showed off our Grand Canyon Beverage Company Union Edition. And that's one of now 4 starting next year, correct?
Going to be 4.
Oh my gosh.
One over
incredible.
at the hotel too.
We're just growing.
Huge.
Tell me, Cass, in your mind, it seems like I always say it's kind of like beating a dead horse because we always talk about community, and it's kind of like, are they forced to say that? Are they paid to say that? No, we're literally not. Like, it's just something we want to talk about. Tell me in your words, as somebody who's about to go into their final year, came from a small town, really has grown at their time here at GCU, how the community has played a role in shaping you as a person.
Yeah, I always like to say that even though I'm getting paid to do this right now, I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't want to. It's just a great place to be. I love GCU so much. But the community here is probably the biggest thing for me. I really love people. I'm a big people person. So I I love spending a lot of time in community, having game nights. I always have people over cooking. People are going to do the same for you, especially if you have upperclassmen that have apartments. So they will invite you over to cook you food anytime, especially when those dining dollars run low.
True.
But community is such a big thing here. We really don't get told to say that. It really is just a huge part of everybody's experience at this school.
Absolutely. And a huge part of community is we want it to be a very natural thing. We want it to be a very inclusive atmosphere, no matter where you're from, or like Mac and I talked about in the previous segment, Christian or non-Christian. We want you to feel comfortable here.
Absolutely.
And it's simple as just, hey, we like having places like GCBC to come hang out. I mean, we've joked about it, but we spend countless hours there and countless amounts of dining dollars there.
Doing homework.
Oh, that's the big thing. So our homework's always due Sunday night, and I would not do my homework before Sunday. I would get there probably around 5 o'clock, probably start my homework around 11. That's the traditional route.
See, I don't do that. I do my homework on
time.
time.
You're a little bit better. There you go.
I like weekends free,
So, okay, let's talk about GCBC, because some people watching
Yes.
us are like, hold on a second, this is an actual coffee shop.
Yes.
This is literally GCU's coffee shop.
Yes.
What's your go-to drink?
It depends on how I'm feeling. If I want a coffee, I always like to get a dirty chai with oat milk, but you got to get the sweet chai. It's just better. Spice chai is really good, but I prefer that one hot. If I'm getting like an energy drink, which we have our very own Stampedes. They're pink. They're beautiful. I love them. They're great. They're really good. I like to either get the final rose, which is strawberry, vanilla, and rose, or I just let them pick whatever flavor they want, and I go with that.
I'll spice it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so in a similar vein, if I'm feeling classic, I got to go with the chocolate milk. It's fantastic. No, the greatest drinks on campus. Just go and order chocolate milk, caramel mocha drizzle. It's fantastic. If I need something to kind of pick me up, I go the strawberry lemonade. Half ice on all these drinks. Or if I want to go the Stampede route, I go blue raspberry coconut.
I don't like blue raspberry.
No, I then get your taste buds checked, because it literally is fantastic.
I believe you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So transition now into talking more about the growth atmosphere and telling you how the community and the growth. I mean, I've been blessed to see Cass in so many different ways of at camps and just at campus in different ways, on the job. But that community and just having a place like GCB to help you has really helped you grow as a person. Tell me about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I came to GCU, I left high school completely different to where I am today. It's only been 3 years since I graduated, but I mean, it's just, GCU just has a way of helping you grow and change, and it's definitely evident, especially in me. I'm a lot more people-oriented than I was, which I didn't think was possible. I feel like I've grown a lot spiritually, too, which is really, really important. My relationship with God is so much bigger than it used to be. I like to say my flame is more strong than it was bright.
That's good. It also helps that you have a friend with you all the time.
Yes.
We do have to mention
my best friend, Keegan, and Hannah.
We love
and God,
that.
the three.
We love that. Well, hey, you're going to stay here. We're going to come back to Casp. Right now, we're going to send out to our friend Matthew to show off one of my favorite places, the arena. So, Matthew, here you go.
All right, guys, this is our final spot that I'm going to be showing you today, and it's a great place to end it because we are surrounded by so many great things to mention. So right now we're kind of being circled by a bunch of different educational facilities, places where you'd be having your classes and stuff like that. We have our College of Theology, College of Education, and even over here way off screen we have our technology building, Building 57, that has so many different things that we are so proud to have here on campus. We have our cadaver lab over there, and we are so blessed to be able to have those bodies that have been donated to science so that our pre-med majors can really get some hands-on experience as early as their freshman year so that they're able to be jump-started right into their field right when they get here on GCU's campus. We have our study abroad programs and honors programs and stuff like that in that building as well. And finally, we have my favorite place on GCU's campus, the GCU Recording Studio. Yes, we have our own state-of-the-art recording studio that rivals anything in LA or Nashville or even New York right here on our campus. That's for our worship arts majors and minors, and I've had the opportunity to record there because I I was a worship arts major, and it is such an incredible place. The staff there is amazing, and obviously I'm very biased towards it. It's a wonderful place. So even if you aren't a worship arts major or minor, then it's definitely a great place to maybe peek your head into and see how amazing GCU is. So the last thing that I'm going to mention here is this big, beautiful building behind me, our GCU Arena. Now this is where we have all of our sports games, our men's and women's basketball, volleyball, and it fits around 8,000 people, I believe, and we pack it out, obviously COVID protocols willing, and that is where we go support all of our sports teams with our Havoks section. That is our student section here on campus, and we are the biggest party in college basketball. We've been written about by ESPN and Sports Center for how incredible our student section is. So if you haven't heard of the Havoks, you gotta look up some YouTube videos, see how rowdy we get, how incredible it is, and just learn how you can become a part of it as soon as you can. Now, this is also where we have our chapel services. We are a Christian campus, but that doesn't mean you have to be a Christian to go here, because all of our chapels, all our services and our events like the gathering, our worship night and things like that, they're all optional. You are not required to go to any of these. They're just there for anyone who'd like to experience it, maybe curb some curiosity, or just go worship in a place where you feel comfortable. So that is where we have our chapel. That is on Monday mornings, and it is a great place to be able to find some peace at the beginning of a long school week here. So last thing I'll touch on just a little bit is our quad, and then I'll send it right back to the studio. But this is the quad right here. This big grass field is one of the biggest hangout spots here on campus, because it is ringed by all these beautiful trees that are just the perfect length apart to be able to string a hammock from. So you'll always see people camping out. There are hammocks that always string here. Beautiful place to be able to come hang out and really get to know those wonderful friends that you're making here at GCU. We also have something called Midnight Breakfast, where right before our finals week, we gather here and have some breakfast burritos, waffles, pancakes, anything you can think of at midnight to kind of kick it off. Say we might be having some long nights for our finals, but we're here to support you and get you through and make sure that you can be successful here at GCU. So that about wraps it up for me. Thank you guys. I hope to see you on our beautiful campus here soon, and I'm gonna go ahead and send it back. Have a great day, you guys.
Thank you, Matthew. We gotta love that guy's energy, don't we?
He's great.
We
Love
just
him.
love
Known him
that
since
guy.
my freshman year. Funny enough.
And again, Matthew is one of our incredible, just like Cass and Mac, one of our incredible, I don't even know how many of you guys are there now.
Like 100.
Seriously, it feels like that. Countless tour guides, literally, if you want to come, you got to get to campus. It's one thing to hear from me and Cass and Mac, or hear from Matthew, but you got to come to campus. To get to campus, just apply.gcu.edu, apply, go on a Discover trip, Campus Tour Plus. You'll get connected with the counselor. If you're already applied, talk to your counselor, whether you want to come next fall or the spring or whenever. We'll make sure we get you fit in to whatever. But a few things we want to touch on here. First off, we do have a question from my good friend Brantley in the audience watching live, asking about fitness and athletic centers. You're the tour guide, so tell me, fitness and athletic centers and their availability.
So we have tons of fitness centers on campus. I believe we're going up to 6 this next year. They're open super late, super early in the morning, so you can really go whenever time you want.
I think 6 to midnight is what it is.
Yeah, that's what I think it is too. I'm not exactly sure. But they're really great. They have tons of different machines. I don't really know what they do. I swam in high school. I'm really uncoordinated, but I'm sure you can lift weights in there and get beefed if you really want to. You can go on runs. There's stair steppers and everything. So all kinds of really cool stuff. Our fitness centers are absolutely great. Yeah, you can honestly probably Google some pictures of them if you want to.
It's
But
really
they're
cool.
really, really nice.
It's
super nice.
really nice.
And they're all over.
Seriously, yes, they are in the middle of campus. They're on the east side of campus. They are everywhere. I am in nowhere near a fitness guru, but sometimes I would have midlife crisis wake-ups where I needed to go back in shape. And I did attend these. They were very nice. All the weights, all the places you go to. It's also cool because you kind of mentioned it as a swimmer. We got pools also, which are nice to go to, those kind of things. We also have things like intramural sports, which is a very fun way. That's what I love to do as a student.
Fun.
Again, I'm not a super athletic person who would join our Division A, but I'll just get my friends out from student leadership, get some tour guides, and we'll just play some flag football.
We have cornhole.
Cornhole now, yeah, we
Cornhole.
introduced that, and we'll probably keep it. Ultimate Frisbee, indoor-outdoor volleyball, indoor-outdoor soccer. So many fun athletic opportunities for you, along with fitness classes. There's Zumba classes, there's CrossFit classes that are led by our GCU intramural squad and campus rec department. It's fantastic. So definitely want to mention that before we dive
Yeah,
into and
absolutely.
close things out. But we heard a lot from Matthew there. We touched on the arena. We touched on all the fun things. My favorite thing to talk about from that, well, one of the favorite things, obviously the biggest party in college basketball, SB Nation. Shout us out. Thank you. The GCU Havoks.
Yes.
Come on, let's talk about those.
Havoks are the best. I really love the Havoks, honestly. Something that I think is really cool is you can go to a game alone, and you're going to get sucked into a really awesome community of people. Once again, there's that word
Oh, yeah.
community,
It
and they're going
sneaks
to
out.
party it up with you. And I just think it's super, super cool. We do campouts sometimes before games if there's a really, really big game. How many times did you camp out?
So since my sophomore year of college, so
Yeah.
sophomore, junior, senior, I camped out for every basketball game. Was front row, literally section 103, right smack in the middle. That was where I was. That was my home.
Saw him before I knew him in those front rows. Just,
yeah?
He screams his head off. He loses his
I
voice.
don't
It's
know
so
how I
funny.
get it. I don't know how I get
Yeah,
that.
but Havoks are great. We do campouts that are just like kind of like smaller ones where not a lot of students go, and then we also have our really, really big one, midnight.
Madness.
Midnight.
We didn't do it last
Yeah,
year.
I forgot, but that's a huge camp out. I think my freshman year it was only like 3 days, but I think my sophomore year it was like 5 or 6
Yep,
days. It
that's-
just keeps growing in how many
it
days they
is.
camp out. It's a 30-minute event. It's at midnight.
That's an hour. It's an hour.
Okay, it's an hour, but it's just so cool that you get to camp out for 6 days right before those kinds
It's
of
so
events.
cool.
It
You
just
know-
makes it so much more fun.
And it's all about those things. I always tell students when I meet with them and their families, do I look back at it and think, dang, Caleb, you're an idiot? Absolutely. But would I change it? No. You look back and it's like, dang, that was kind of not the smartest thing to do. But guess what? It's one of my favorite things to look back at. And it's so good to do in the moment because it's those memories you make. And another cool memories we make is our chapels. Matthew
Yes.
talked about the chapels and that experience.
Yeah, so for me, my freshman year especially, I talk a lot about my freshman year. That was definitely my favorite year of college. But we would go to chapel, me and my friends, and then right afterwards, we would go to breakfast or lunch, depending on how we were feeling. Then we'd usually go to one of our dorms and just go play some board games, play some card games until we had class, and it was a really fun time.
Yeah.
Chapel's great. The arena gets packed full of
does.
students, and it's really incredible to see just a huge community of students worshiping together. During chapel hour, we don't actually have any classes,
Yes.
so you can go 100% free if you want. You don't have to worry about skipping class. And there's 799 or 7,999
I was about to
other
say, hold on.
students in that room with you because our arena is so big, it holds so many students. And
It's
it's
so
just a really
cool.
incredible opportunity. Our worship band is great. We'll have speakers from other churches in the valley come, and I think that's really awesome because
Yes.
it allows you to hear from other pastors so you can actually find your home church here in Phoenix.
Yeah. And again, I got to reemphasize this. If you're hearing this and you're like, ooh, I don't really want that, that's okay too. You're totally
Absolutely.
welcome to be here, whether it's for the Christian component or not. It's super cool. And then before we move on, to answer a couple more questions that have come in the chat. Tell me, when you think of overall, we've touched on the arena, we talked about GCBC, Mac and I talked about the Grove experience. What's some advice, as somebody who had their favorite year was freshman year? A lot of these people that are watching that are going to come across this are going to come into either the freshman year or first year on campus. What's some advice?
My biggest piece of advice is it's okay to get a B in school as long as you're getting an A in life.
A.
And I say that because
Ooh.
I actually heard that from one of my professors, Justin McClendon. Highly recommend him. He teaches a lot of theology classes, but he also
good.
teaches Christian worldview. But he's great. Love him. He told me that once because I was really stressed about an assignment. I was like, I really want to go to the Grand Canyon, but I also need to get this assignment done. And he was like, turn it in late. Don't even worry about it.
We love
It's
that.
not a big deal. Just take out 5 points and
Yes.
go to the Grand Canyon and have fun.
And our professors, our class sizes helped with that. Because
Yes.
instead of being in a 400-person lecture hall, what was it, 40, 50 people? And you
I
needed
had
one
17
professor.
people in that class.
Exactly.
It was so small.
So it allowed them to have that conversation.
Yeah.
So, well, Cass, if you don't mind, we're going to stay here. We got a few questions from the chat. Darian, our lovely moderator, I'll be honest, cannot read those whatsoever. So we're going to break the fourth wall here.
Vegan options in the Grove.
Vegan options in the Grove. So we actually have a pretty cool vegan options.
Yeah.
Not only in the Grove, it's a little different because we do have what are they call it,
Lope Smart?
the Lope Smarts in the Grove. So there's no actual restaurant over by the Grove, but we have a Lope Smart. Think of it like a how do we go? Kind of like an airport.
convenience store?
Convenience store.
Yeah.
I knew those words.
At a
you would
gas
know.
station.
Gas station, airport.
They're great. They're better than gas stations, I promise.
Yes, the sushi is by far better.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
But there's a lot of cool vegan options there as well. But also each of our restaurants have vegan options. Pita Jungle is a big, I know, popular vegan option, as well as the Habit Burger and Grill. You can always get things lettuce wrapped. You can always get things. We have in the arena, there's a...
Purple greens.
There's purple
It's kind of like
greens.
Bootables. It's really, really good.
Yeah. I've been there a couple times. I've gotten my quinoa, gotten my white brown rice. It's been awesome. Darian's
good.
shaking his head because he knows I've been there twice, but I'm going to talk about it all the time.
I've been there more than twice. It's delicious. You can also go to GCU Dining. They have tons of information on different food options. Highly recommend looking at their Instagram. They
Yes.
do Ask Us Wednesday or something like that.
Yeah.
And
They
you
wanna
can
know.
ask any question and they will answer them. And they're really, really funny too.
Yeah.
So I actually just like to go through them. I
There
know a
we
lot
go.
about dining because I go through it all the time.
We also have Panera Bread coming in next campus or next semester, so that's going to be awesome. So that's awesome. Any other questions from the
Our
chat?
discover's happening.
Discovers are happening.
Yes.
They could, I think, believe they're stopping at the end of the month. If you are wanting to get into Discover for fall of 2021, I would encourage you to talk to your counselor ASAP, like
Yes.
literally once you're getting done watching this. If you're wanting to start in either the spring of 2022 or fall of 2022 or beyond, I would recommend waiting till October when it's not 115 degrees
Yeah,
outside and
yeah.
there's students outside. So to answer your question, yes, but I believe they're stopping at the end of this month to give our lovely host and Discover host a break. But that could change any moment. We always want students to feel like they're welcome. You could also have Campus Tour Plus and come on and tour. I believe that's open year round, correct? Not
I think so.
Yeah. Discovers are a little different because that's when you don't come with family, overnight experience. Campus
Yeah.
Tour Plus is when you can come with your family, a little bit more personalized solo tour. Both options. Again, apply.gcu.edu. If you are applied and you have a counselor, literally talk to them, send them a text. They'll respond within the minute probably and get those questions answered. Because
My Discover trip is the reason that I came to GCU.
Same.
So highly recommend it.
Same. I absolutely do as well. Any more questions from the chat? That is everything. Well, hey,
Awesome.
Cass, you're great.
Hey, thanks.
We love you. Thanks for coming on. And hey, we'll be back for another GC Live tour. We love to do these things. Make sure to turn on notifications, subscribe. And like I said, my name's Caleb Duarte. This is Cass. Thanks, Mac, for coming on. Thank you, Matthew, for being out there on the field. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Hopes up.
Hopes up.